This blank was given to me by Kenneth at the last Mid-Ohio. He gave me a little baggie full of blanks. They're all laser cut. They're gorgeous blanks. I've got the rubber bands around the blank, not because the little pieces are coming out, but because I dropped this blank and I broke it into 3 pieces. So I went ahead and put a tube, or put the pieces around a tube and put rubber bands to hold them tight. What we're going to do today is we're going to get this tube glued and centered with epoxy into this blank. Then I'm going to come back and soak the outside of the tube, including the rubber bands, with a little bit of thin CA glue. We'll let that dry, and then we'll turn our blank. And it actually is a Sierra style 27/64. It's just like a Monarch or a Wall Street. And you can see there's quite a bit of material that we're going to need to turn away. So these rubber bands will completely disappear, and we should end up with a gorgeous blank. I've got my blank roughed up, and I've got Play-Doh inserted in both ends of the tube. Please don't contact Kenneth about these blanks. He is no longer producing them. He sold the rights to produce these blanks and all of the patterns and everything else to someone else who is actually making them now. I do not remember who that was, but I know there are enough people who watch these videos. If you know who is doing this for Kenneth, or Kenneth, if you happen to watch this video, if you could please put that information down in the comments section of the video, I think that would help a lot of people out, because I think there's going to be a lot of interest in this blank and some of the other ones that I'll be showing in some future videos. They're incredible blanks. Just want to make sure I spread the excess epoxy all the way out to the edge of the tube. Let's press her down in there. Let's remove some of the squeeze out. Now what I want to do is I'm going to look at the blank and make sure it looks like it's perfectly centered. Yeah, but see, it's moving. That'll happen sometimes, so you've got to kind of watch that with these blanks. Happens with all blanks. Just get it where it's just below the surface on both ends. It's painstaking, but the more you pay attention and the more you are careful with your blank, the better your end result will be. Now I've got it centered perfectly on both ends of the blank. I'm going to lay this aside to dry. And when we come back, we will coat it with CA. To ensure that all of the individual components of this blank stick together, I'm going to drizzle CA all over the blank. I'm going to let it kind of soak in and just stick all of the individual pieces to one another. The CA has sufficiently dried on the blank. We're ready to begin turning. I don't know if you were able to see that on the video or not, but the rubber bands actually held in some of the CA and it sort of splattered out. I could see wet marks on my skew as I was turning. So basically I'm going to get this cleaned off. I'm going to re-strop it. Then we'll turn the other rubber band off and do the same thing to make sure the skew is plenty sharp, because I don't want to gouge this blank and cause it to blow apart. That is beautiful. I can see one of the crack lines right here, and it looks like there's a tiny little piece of wood there, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to put this right behind the clip, and the rest of the blank looks absolutely flawless and amazing. I've sanded the blank down to 600. I'm going to get it put on the non-stick bushings. We'll clean it with a little denatured alcohol, and then we'll apply some CA finish. Just put the last coat of CA on the blank. Time to micromesh. Take a look at that blank. Pretty darn amazing. I love Kenneth's work. With this blank, there's one little area right there where you can see the tube. I guess when the blank split into 3 pieces, we lost a little chunk of wood, and we're going to make sure we put that behind the clip. That was a nerve-wracking press. I really had to be careful. Let me bring this up to the camera a little bit and get you some better light here. You can see we've got a really nice fit there. Luckily, no issues with the blank. I was scared about possibly cracking the little missing pieces directly behind the clip. Let's go ahead and put the nib section of the pin together. And there you have it. What a gorgeous pin. All made possible by an incredible blank. Looking at this pin, I think back to the very first time I ever turned a laser cut pin, and I was so nervous because all those tiny little pieces that could just come flying out. And another turner told me, hey, just put little thin rubber bands around the blank from top to bottom. The kind that people use on braces are perfect. They hold everything in place. Just soak it in thin CA right over the rubber bands and turn it all away when you're done. Once I started doing that, it worked great. Now for this one, I had larger rubber bands because I don't have kids in braces anymore, so I don't have any little ones around the house, and I used what I had. But you can pick up rubber bands at the office supply store, and they just do a great job, and you can see the result is fantastic. I couldn't be happier with the pin. Kenneth Wines, thank you so much for this and the other blanks you gave me. You guys will be seeing some of his other blanks in future videos. I want you all to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Come back and see me again real soon, and have a great evening.